Hello all, welcome back to the channel. In our previous session, we have discussed about the Sync API provided by the Playwright, and also we have tried implementing one simple script where it can launch the browser, navigate to the website, and we will be printing the title using the Sync API. And today in this session, we will be going to see the another API, which is Async API. So for that, let me create one more file here, which is Async API. So now let's see what is Async API. Async API is a process where the tasks are started independently to run in parallel. All the tasks will be executed at the same time, and it will not block for any other task supposed to be executed. Like task 1 is executed, at the same time task 2 and task 3 and task 4 also got executed, and they are all responsible to complete their own task. So once the task is completed, instead of closing it, it will go into the waiting queue, so that once after all the tasks are completed, so it will going to close the execution at last. And since this task is taking a higher duration time to execute, so within this time itself, it will make sure that all tasks are completed and went into the waiting queue, so that it will check internally, it executes all the tasks which are defined below, then finally it will go and close the execution within the highest duration of the time. But when we implement and execute our test case, we will understand how the same test case using the synchronous API and asynchronous API makes the huge difference. This asynchronous, because this required some expert level of understanding on the Playwright, but no worries, we will be sticking on to the synchronous way only, as we are still in the learning phase. This asynchronous is helpful when you are dealing with the multiple tasks where your application has a huge requirement of running a multiple tasks together. That time this asynchronous will comes handy. Otherwise, if you are having a small application where you can automate only the web application, and you have certain tasks to be performed from the backend and doing some validation connecting to the database, and that time working with the synchronous API itself is sufficient. Okay, so no worries, in this entire session we will be sticking on to the synchronous API itself, and we will be learning the Playwright basics fundamental, and we will be doing some hands-on practices using the synchronous APIs only. I just wanted to give a glimpse of asynchronous also, how it works in a real time industry. When you get a chance to create a framework that where your project is required a lot of tasks to be concurrently executed, and you have to do some complex task, that time you should not get into the confusion. For that purpose only I am making this video, to make you people aware of how the asynchronous also works in. I'll try to break down as much as possible to make you people understand how the asynchronous works. Working with asynchronous API and synchronous API, there is a slight difference in that, since to working with any of the API in Playwright, first step is to start the API engine, right? So similarly for Sync API, we will be importing this Sync API package from the Playwright. The same way we will also importing the package for the Async API. So from Playwright dot, this time we will be importing Async API instead of Sync API. From this package we need to import async underscore Playwright. Okay, so in Sync API, how we used to create the function, simply we will be just creating the function with defining the def keyword and then function name, right? This is async demo, right? But if you are using async, there should be a keyword must be specified as a prefix to tell that function that we will be going to use the function as a async mode. So for that you have to define a prefix as a async, wherein asynchronous we need not require to specify any of the prefix here, right? This is the one difference. And the second difference, we are using the with statement, right? So here also, before the with statement, we have to tell that we will be going to use the async method, and we will be using the async API of the Playwright function, so that the function will now having some idea of what exactly this function has to be run, whether it should run it in a sync mode or it's in a async mode, right? This statement we have defined. Now it will return one object that I have to mention it here as a p. It is not mandatory that you have to give always p only here. You can give any name that you wish to, but just for simplicity I'll be just giving a p here, so that I can get an access to my browsers. Since I defined the object here, now this p will give me the access to all the browsers. From this p, if I want to launch on my Chromium browser, I can select the Chromium. Similarly for Firefox and the WebKit, right? So this time I'll be choosing the Chromium itself. From this Chromium, what we are doing, we are launching the browser, right? So we will be use the method called launch, and I also want that execution has to be displayed on my browser, because I want to see all the actions which is going to perform, because Playwright runs all the execution headless. Explicitly I want to give a headless equals to false, so that I can see all the execution which is performing on the browser. So here there is a one more keyword comes into the picture, which is await. I'll tell you what this exactly await is in some time. Now let's forget about the await, just how you create the program in Sync API, right? The similar way I'll just try to create the entire test case here first, then I will make you understand. So we will be going to launch the browser here. This will return me the object which I will be giving it as a browser here. From this browser I'll be creating a new context. I'll be storing that context into the context variable. From this context we have to create a new page, right? So new page will be opening the new window. That window will be my page. From this page I can go to any of the URL and pasting it here. Okay, so this will be going to my this URL. Once I go to this URL, I want to get the title of this page. For that there is a method called page.title. This function we have to call. Simply it will return the title of the page. So I will be storing it in one variable, so that I can print it later, or we can write it in a same line itself, not an issue. Using a print function of the Python, we can print the title of this current page. And at last what I will be doing, I will be closing the browser dot close. This is my function which we used to write in a synchronous mode. But here in asynchronous mode, as I have already said you, that all these lines will be considered as a separate operation, and each separate operations are considered to be as a task. Just for understanding purpose, this is the task 1, and each line we will be considering it as a different task. This is task 2, and this is task 3, and this is task 4, and this is my task 5, and this is the task 6. I hope you guys are clear till here what I have explained till now using the Async API. If you guys still have any confusion of understanding this how Async API works, just do let me know in the comment section. I will try to make another video just to explain the concept with the proper diagram, to explain you in a very simpler and layman style to understand. But however, it is not that much required though, because Async APIs we will be working very rarely in our automation project, but it is good to understand. For that purpose only this video is all about, more focused on. Otherwise, as I said, like we will be going to use the sync APIs only throughout our learning journey of this Playwright with Python automation course. Let's get back to our example. Since I have created this entire test case with sync API style itself, okay. Also, I have given you the difference, like what you have to keep in mind. If you are writing the async style, we have to use a prefix keyword as a async before defining the function, and after defining also, before the with statement, we have to use the async again as a prefix. Okay. And here's the most trickiest part. We have learned that asynchronous API will execute all our test tasks in parallel and at the same time, right? Like if I call this function, this all tasks will be executed at the same time. But how will it be going to know whether my browser is opened? Because without browser you cannot navigate to this URL, right? So without navigating, how you will get to your title? Either obviously Playwright will throw an error. For that reason, we have explicitly tell to our function that once you execute this task and complete your operation, I want you to wait till the rest of the tasks to be completed. Correct? Only then it will understand, okay, my job is done. I have to wait till the task 2 is completed. Again, for the similar task 2, we have to tell, okay, your task is done, but what about the other guys? They are also working, right, parallelly. So you have to wait until the other task to be completed. To do so, we have to use the await keyword here instead of all the methods, all the operations that we are writing it here. So this, what this await keyword does is basically it sends an instruction to the Playwright engine that, okay, your task is done now. So you have to wait till the other task to be completed. So automatically Python will freeze the execution. So that's how the await keyword will help us without getting into the error. Similarly, for the task 2, I have to make await keyword so that when it completes its task, it should wait for the next task to be completed. So similarly for the task 3 also, I have to give the await keyword. And here just observe carefully, since these operations are returning some object, so I'll be using the await keyword here and the variable that I am mentioning before this equal to sign. But here we are just calling this goto method and passing some argument, and it is not returning any value to us back, right? So for that I can directly use the await keyword here. And since this is the Python function, I'll be using the print statement. Within this print statement, I will be trying to get the title of that page. So here, before this task completed, I must have to wait to get the title of the page. For that, I have to use this await keyword here. And finally, closing the browser, I have to use the await keyword here. Okay. All right. Now it's time to run the function. To run the function, we must have to import one more library that is called Async IO. To import that library, use the keyword called import and the library name, that is Async IO. Basically, this Async IO is a library which comes with one function called run. Using that run function, we have to call this function so that our execution will invoke and start executing the test case. Now let's see how we can do that. Firstly, I have to call the Async IO from this library I have to use the function called run, and within this function, which test case function that I is supposed to call to execute, that function has to be defined inside of the function. So now this will take care of executing the asynchronous function. Again, we can execute this test case in two different ways. Either you can click this run function, otherwise you can even mention the path of the file where exactly you have created the function. So I'll be executing this function through the command line. I'm just hitting enter. Now it has launched the browser, went to the automationexercise.com, it grabbed the title and it has printed the title here, automation.exercise. So this is all it is. And what about you forgot to mention await here in any of the task? So it will obviously give you an error. I'll tell you why. Let me re-execute the test case. So here you can see the attribute error is co-written object has no attribute go to. So this task itself is not recognized by the context, because as we have discussed in our previous section, all this context will be having all the details of the browser. So somewhere there is a breakage in between, so that this context of the page is not recognizing this method which we have defined from this page object. This is the one reason. The other reason is, since this is executing parallelly and the task it is trying to execute without a wait mechanism, so before creating a context, it will directly trying to go and land on this URL. So that is not supposed to be happen, right? So we must have to use await only then this task is executed and completed, it will return the boolean value. With this it will know, okay, this task is executed and awaiting for the next task. So this is how it will be helpful, and you should not forget to mention the await keyword in any of the line throughout your test script. So this is how the importance of using the await. If you are using the async, then definitely you should have to use this await keyword for each of the line. Otherwise you may get into the attribute error and there will be a breakage to understand in the event of the loop of this entire test case.